On this edition of Fly Fish, Wendy and Terry Gunn take us to Big Sky Country to fish the lakes of Battle Creek Ranch. This historic holding was home to the Cattle Queen of Montana, made famous in an old Western movie starring Ronald Reagan and Barbara Stanwyck. They give us some pointers on wade fishing the huge rainbows in the shadow of the beautiful Rocky Mountain front.
The Rocky Mountain front runs all the way up to Canada. You and I will be traveling pretty soon going up through Glacier National Park, which is part of it.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, where's that fly box that Jack got ready for you?
Jack's special fly box right here, Wendy. This is Jack's selection for today. You've been seeing all these fish rising out here.
Well, I see some Goddard caddis, and I see some different types of attractor patterns here.
Those are stimulators, right? And these are adult damselflies. And right over here are Royal Trudes, Madam X, and a selection of nymphs, various types of nymphs. Matter of fact, look down here. Here's some scuds. Just
I don't recognize those at all.
Lee's Ferry.
That's great. Well, I've been seeing a bunch of fish rise.
I'm really ready to go fishing.
Well, let's go.
Okay. Wendy, is it best to cast a specific fish here or just likely areas?
Likely areas, but if you see a fish come up, I definitely try to hit it on the nose.
Well, we've been seeing a few rise here, so that should be pretty easy. Ooh. Ooh, look at that. That was a good fish right there.
There was a dry right there.
Absolute dry. The wind will stay down now.
I think we should stay out of the waters or just on the edge.
Yeah,
too,
stay back out of the water
possible.
instead of walking on the fish. Oh, looky there. The old do-nothing technique works again. I love it. Looking away, watching you. That's a nice fish.
Did you put action on it?
No, it was just sitting there. Of course, I looked away and it was gone. Look at that. It didn't spook that other one. The other one rose right next to where this guy took.
You want to keep your rod up high, just like when we're fishing down in the flats or something because of all the weeds.
Well, that was an incredible run. I don't think he's a really big fish, but he sure is a gorgeous fish. Tell that already by that first jump. Look at the depth of this fish, Wendy.
Yeah, he's a nice fish.
Really broad-shouldered.
A lot of the fish here, Terry, you'll see are real bright silver too.
Look at the size of this fish. Look at the depth of that fish. Can't even get your hand around him. I take fish like that on a dry fly all day long. What a nice fish. Nice fish, huh, Wen?
Oh, beautiful fish, especially on a
fish
dry.
is released. Nice fish. All right. That was a nice fish, Wendy. I caught that fish on an irresistible. That was one that wasn't in Jack's box. I snuck that out of my box.
Well, Terry, that was about a 3-year-old fish.
That was a very nice fish. How big do these guys get anyway, Wendy?
Jack's got fish up in here that are up to about 5 years old, and they run about anywhere up from 10 to 12 pounds.
Oh, well, I can't wait for one of those. Oh, Wendy, yes, I saw that guy roll on it. Nice fish. I think he's bigger than the one I had. You don't mind if I try to make this a double, do you?
Not at all. I had 2 refusals when you had that last fish on.
Oh, no sooner said than done.
Double.
Oh, nice fish. Great. Now, this is fishing. Nice fish, too. Oh, third jump.
Terry, I caught that doing no action. How about you?
Me too. It's just letting it set.
Yep.
These guys seem to be just liking it just setting. No skittering caddis here. That's a strong fish, Wendy. That's a big fish.
Yeah. He's a head shaker, that's for sure.
Well, mine was a jumper. You know, it's incredible to catch fish this size on dry flies. I'm gonna go ahead and let this guy go. Look at the fish rising right next to it.
Yeah. It's amazing these fish will take dries, you know, there's so much food out here.
Wendy, look at this fish real quick.
Oh.
That a nice one?
Yeah. Another beautiful Battle Creek rainbow. They sure are pretty.
A gorgeous fish. Get big, we'll come back and visit you next year. Barbless hook should come out real easy. It's right in the corner of his mouth. There we go. All right. That's the biggest one so far.
Whoop. See?
Oh, what a nice fish, Wendy. That's a big guy. Beautiful color too, huh?
Yeah. Terry, nice start, huh?
What a beautiful fish, Wendy. That's great.
People have a tendency to want to keep fishing, especially when the fish are this active. People need to pay closer attention to the fly. If it's not floating right, staying on top, you're not going to catch as many fish. So you need to take a little bit of time out, make sure, dry it out, get it back out there and catch fish.
Oftentimes you'll find people who actually want to cast long because they enjoy casting.
Well, the wind's come up, but even though, since we've had such great luck with the dry, let's go ahead and drop just a trailer off of it. I put a little yellow pheasant tail off of mine.
Well, I put a small bead-headed pheasant tail on mine.
That ought to work well. Now, how do you rig that?
Let me show you real quick how you rig this. Oftentimes you'll find people that rig a dropper off the hook, the bend of the hook. Flies are not designed to float off the bend of the hook. They're designed to float in the front portion of the fly. So what I do is I tie 2 pieces of tippet straight into the eye, run a couple of feet below, and then tie my dropper to that.
Same rig I've got.
Well, are you ready to go fish?
Let's go fishing. One thing to remember when you're fishing 2 flies, especially a dry with a nymph, is you want to open up your loop a little bit so your second fly does not catch the first fly. Same as if you were fishing an indicator.
To open up your loop, you simply increase the range of motion that your rod tip travels. Make a wider arc with your rod tip, you'll get a larger loop.
When we're talking about opening up the loop and the arc, just where your plane of the rod goes is a bigger arc as opposed to a shorter arc. That opens up a bigger loop. That's a tighter loop. Bigger arc, bigger loop.
The easiest way to open up your loop is to simply drop your rod tip lower on the forward cast. That allows the dropper not to hang up on your fly line. Also works really great with split shot.
So what do you think about this Montana fishing now, Terry?
Well, I think I know where we're going to be going on our vacation next summer.
Think you owe me one?
I owe you one.
Oh, fish on!
Oh, yeah, good take. That was great, Wendy. Oh, strong fish. Be careful of the weed. Your line's on the weed.
When you come to a new place to fish, remember to always go and ask the locals what's working and how to approach water.
When you first approach a new lake, always be patient, look around, watch for any hatches that might be occurring. Try to match those hatches. That's how you catch fish.
Yeah, and always check your fly and your leader and make sure that you have no knots and that your fly's floating properly. Remember, your fishing time's valuable and you got to make the most of it. Got it?
Right here, this is the mandillary bone, and notice how that bone goes way back past the eye? That almost guarantees you that that's a male. The female, the bone would come even right with the eye there. Beautiful fish. Way to go, Wendy. Oh, that's a really nice fish, Wendy.
Thanks, Terry. Boy, we've had some wonderful success today walking down the shoreline stocking fish.
We've watched these fish move. We've moved with them. I think that by adding this dropper, this nymph dropper to the dry fly, we doubled the number of fish we caught this afternoon.
I definitely know I doubled.
Yeah, well, I know you did too.
We'll see you next time.